Healing is not a choice, it's a must. Fix your crown and return to your biz. Grow in grace, let your light shine so bright. Let God guide your path through the night. Lift your head, wipe the tears from your eyes. Feel His love like the sun in the skies. He'll just rise and let your heart blow. Let Him place joy where the pain used to show. He'll sustain, let your spirit be free. It's your time now, just believe and you'll see. Trials may come, but they won't last.
So thank you for having me.
Of course, girl. But it's long overdue.
I know.
Long overdue. So can I brag on you for a minute, Tyrus?
I guess.
Okay. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. And I do it better than Shannon Sharp. So before we begin, I want to take a moment to ground today's conversation in who our guest is and why her voice matters. So Marlisha Robinson is a community leader, entrepreneur, and advocate deeply committed to healing the village. She is the chairman and founder of Project Freedom 326, an organization rooted in youth-centered leadership, community visibility, and collective responsibility. Through her work, Marlisha challenges adults to move beyond conversation into action, centering youth voices, access, and accountability. But that's not all. She is also the owner and CEO of Carolina Vyxen Tax Preparation. Yes, ma'am. Where she uses financial education and economic empowerment as tools for healing families and strengthening communities through collective economics. Marlisha's leadership is grounded not only in action, but in growth. She openly shares her personal journey of being called higher, learning patience, discipline, and what it truly means to lead by example. Her work is guided by the Sankofa principle of go back and get what was lost, restoring history, responsibility, and hope so that the next generation does not inherit the cycles that we failed to heal. So y'all are in for a treat today. Thank you so much, Marlisha Robinson.
Glad to be here.
All right. I take that very, very close to my heart. So, sis, as somebody who is deeply invested in community healing, and this year has hit us with a lot of community healing from the jump.
Yeah.
Like with, the thing at Willie's Bar and Grill, with the things we saw happen with the state and our kids, to even the most recent thing where we lost Dr. Davis, Linda Davis in Savannah. So how would you describe the season you are currently in, given all of that, as a leader?
Right now for me, we're big on action. So right now with so many things happening at one time, I had to take a moment back and then reach out to those who I lean on, like, I need more of you. I know a lot of times you tell me to take a break, but it's hard because people are hurting. That people just don't know where to go. A lot of us are churched out. And I tell people, we're still a ministry, but just not the way that other people look. So right now it's honing in on that. How can I be more present? How can I be more not on the go where it looks like we're just putting on, and just being more present and having that conversation, the uncomfortable conversations. Tell me what you need from me. And sometimes they don't need anything other than your presence, and there's a ministry in your presence. So sometimes just be still, just be there, and that's it does wonders.
Peace, be still.
Yes,
be still.
So that's where we are.
So that sounds like intentionality. I cannot talk today. Intentionality.
Yeah.
I still said it wrong. I know how to say it, but today is running. Y'all know what I mean. But you've been intentional about shifting from talking about things, hence the Robert Smalls Men and Women of Action. So we're going to shift to the demographic we've seen hurting the most out of all of this, and that's our kids.
Yeah.
So how have you been encouraging people to shift from talking about kids to talking to them? What are the youth telling you that they need from the adults in their village as we're mourning so many things?
Here's the thing about, I can't say they tell me what they need because some of them never seen it. They just know what's missing. Something's missing. So it's not always direct. For my children in my village before the organization, they see that I come from a two-parent home. I have both sets of grandparents. Both sides of my family is deeply rooted in Christ. So they saw something they never seen before. Growing up, we were called the Cosby Kids. I never took offense by it. I love it. Still love it. You know, but we had all that but the money. But you couldn't tell. We were rich in love. So they know, my kids know what they're missing. So when they see their friend is lacking something, they want to bring them in. You need to come sit with us a little bit. So we try to bring that same thing into our events that we do, because you don't want everybody in your home. So we had to create space, safe space to do that. So we basically show them what you had growing up. We see a lot of them saying the kids don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. They don't know it exists. They didn't grow up seeing what we saw. They didn't grow up, and I take responsibility. I didn't bring my children into a marriage. So I've given my kids something I know nothing about. My parents are still together. So I had to recognize that there's some parts of my own children's lives that I need to reach out to someone else who can relate to my own kids, because I gave them something that I don't quite understand and will never be able to. And that was, again, something I would not use the word regret, but I do wish I had understood a little better. So it's also taking reflection on you too. If the kid is hurting, what can I do? What is missing? What am I not doing? Sometimes we have a thing where we assume that because we're the ones out in the community doing things, we actually leave our own behind. And I had to also make sure I made room for that too. And that was something my youngest son brought to my attention. The oldest, he's used to it, to where I have to sit back and, sometimes just sit with him for a little bit, like let's talk, because I see a disconnection between us the older he gets. And I have two children who are 7 years apart. So I have to be the different mom to both of them. And then I have to also articulate that to people in our group. None of our children are the same. None of us are the same. So what is it that I was missing growing up? Then that's what you give your kid. So I had a two-parent home, got two kids that I did not bring to a two-parent home. So therefore I have to find someone who can help me better parent them and understand where they're coming from, and then vice versa. You may have not come from where I come from. Let me show you what can help. Yeah. Let's sit to the table. I mean, and then again, with our ancestry, the table is where it all started. So let's bring that kitchen table talk. Let's just be open. In this moment, I'm not your mom. I'm never your friend. But tell me how you see me. Tell me what you would like for me to do more when it comes to you. Every parent doesn't want to have that conversation, but it's necessary. It's very necessary.
You said a lot right there. I heard the importance of village, the importance of healthy communication, the kitchen table talk, and people don't realize, I think, and that accountability as a parent. Yeah. To be able to sit there and have your child be honest with you about how they view you.
It's very necessary.
It's very necessary, and especially in our community.
Yes.
As African American people, as Black folks.
Because we were told to be seen and not heard.
And what happens in this house
stays
in this house. And that's all a part of that village community that requires healthy dynamics and communication. So you said something else. You shared something powerful about something that the kids of the community told you, that adults are chasing. I'm paraphrasing here, but that adults are chasing viral moments and using the youth as props instead of letting them lead. What does that reveal about where healing is needed in that area?
Check yourself.
Why you wreck yourself?
Check yourself. And it was one of my children who were one of the closest to me, who actually brought it to my attention, and it's hurt. So I tell people, they're oh, this person has an attitude. They don't want to be. Before they get the attitude, they were hurt. Because you hurt before you got mad. Because if you didn't care about the person, love about the person, and trust them, you wouldn't be impacted by what they're doing. So before the attitude, there was hurt. They may not have known how to say it. And getting back to our prior conversation was, they not have been allowed to tell you how they feel sometimes. So then they act a certain way. But yeah, the cameras are coming out. And that's one thing that bothers me the most is any event. All you see is the camera before you can see the speaker. Why are we pulling our camera? Why is your first thought, oh, let me get with these kids. Oh, let's record this. For what? And I get in organizations, we need documentation for certain reasons. But when you first get there, take that picture and put that camera down. Don't turn it on. Don't go live. Because again, they're props now. And I've seen it. And didn't realize it. There's people who I've been, hey, I want to get with you. Let's meet. And it's like we're just going and never get together. But then when the event or the conversation is being had, cameras come out and here you are.
It's like,
wow, that's interesting. You couldn't be here for the grinding of it and the brainstorming, but you showed up for the cameras. And now you're on our website or you're on this person's Facebook. You just seem like you're everywhere. And to the general public, it looks like, oh man, that's a busy young man. That's a busy young woman. And you're busy doing nothing. And those kids see it.
It's more about being the influencer versus being impactful.
Yes.
Ooh, that was a word.
It was a word. That's bars.
Bars.
So it's like, I seen it, and it took me a minute though, because I'm always on the go and I'm not always looking to point out the wrong in someone. It's just, I've seen it. And when it was brought to my attention, some of them it's like, they just want us on TikTok. They just want to put us, what are we really doing here? And as you know, when I got started with another organization to help out, I was on some of the marketing for them. So over time, I'm like, I like to use real things in people's flyers. I get it the first 2-3 times you got to build something. But how many times I take this picture with this youth group and they my kids? After a while, it's going to look, when the real people coming, Right. So it's, and my children, again, they knew they were there for the photo part, but then I'm like, okay, well, when is the programming though? Like when is this group going to do the things that they said they were going to do? And unfortunately, it went on for so long. So some of those young men who were with me at 15 and 16, who are now 18, 19, it's kind of hard to get them back.
It is.
It's hard to get them back. So all they see is a bunch of empty promises. You use me as a prop, so they can always look back at this website or this magazine or whatever and see them in it. But you ask them, what did they get from that place?
It wasn't much.
Nothing. I was just there as a model.
That's a model. That hit deep.
You didn't even put me on the runway.
You didn't even put me on the runway.
You just took a picture, and it's the truth. It's the truth, and it's hard, because you start to see, and it was something you brought out, because I love me a hoodie all year round. But it's something with the youth that you pointed out, they wear it to hide. And I'm like, really? I just went over my head. And most of the children I'm around, yeah. The hair in the face, they cover everything.
Last year when we went to the beach, when we came out there, and we brought the 2 babies out there with us, and remember, they had both came a little bit more timid, and they had the hoodies on. It was, mind y'all, it was about 100 degrees outside. Jesus. It was the middle of June.
It was hot.
But by the time they left, even just taking that time to walk down there to the beach with them when we did that, and just talking to them, by the time they came back, they were out of the hoodies. Yeah. They was running around being kids. And how old were they? They were about 15, 16.
Oh, yeah. They just turned 17.
Just turned 17.
Yeah, because they get ready to turn 18.
But it was like when we gave them that space, and the adults that were around them, and mind you, it wasn't just us as adults. We was Black folks out there as Project Freedom, but we were at a Hilton resort. Yeah. So it was other people interacting with them too, like making sure y'all having a good time, go out here, enjoy the beach. Can we get something for you? But when you actually pay attention to them and give them the space to be kids and the freedom to be kids.
And they got to trust you.
Yes.
Because trust is a big thing with them. They see you before you realize they see you. And I would say something about this younger generation. they ain't here for it. They are not here
Clock it.
for the games. They see straight through you. It's like that. We always say older people and babies can see.
Mm-hmm.
That baby part never left these young folks.
Not these.
It
that's
did
around
not
Mm-mm.
leave them. I don't know if it was the pre and post COVID thing, but it's just they have a insight. For me, I thought it was just my son because he's so close to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured he'd pick up my personality, but I'm seeing it in so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess social media plays a part in that too, because they have their own communities online and they talk about this stuff.
Yes.
Like I've been paying attention a little more now. I get on YouTube to see these chat groups that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Child, they been having Bible study,
Mm-hmm.
praying with each other. Like we hear about the horrible things,
They're
but
seeking.
no one is talking about this. And I was blown away. I'm like, and they were not playing.
Mm-hmm.
They were not in there playing church. They were praying. I'm like, I'm talking 12, 13, 14-year-olds talking to each other.
Because they want something real.
They need that realness.
They've grown up in a world. I think this is what it is. They've grown up in a world where everything is manufactured for likes and shares.
Yes.
So they've basically been built in a world that was a facade.
Mm-hmm.
They were born in the Matrix.
And when we come into their space, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know these teens don't care about TikTok anymore. Like, let the grown folk have it.
Mm-hmm.
It's named TikTok. That is a child's platform, you know. And now it is saturated with adults. And it's just, and that was a part of them. Like I said, we're just the props. You came in, this was for us. Here you come. So now they move over to other things. And that's why they're doing the whole chat groups and the live streaming, because they know we ain't about to get on there and play these video games. So they form their own spaces because they sick of us.
Mm-hmm.
They are sick and tired of us.
They're sick of being
and
a
it's
prop.
just, we
They
got to
sick
do
of being
more.
a
Like, there's more action.
So-
Sometimes you don't need a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
You just invite them over. Just go somewhere. Just be.
Mm-hmm.
Everything don't have to be an event.
Yeah.
And that's all they're asking for. That's all they're asking. Can we just
Genuine community.
hang out?
Genuine community.
That's it.
The village. They are crying. These babies are crying out for the village. And you said something else in one of our previous conversations about the adults trying to run away from being the elders of the community now.
Jesus, yeah.
Trying to play friend
Yeah.
and not trying to actually step into their role and responsibility
Yeah.
as elder. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think the people need to hear it.
See, it's a thing, and I don't know. I think I blame myself for a little bit. I like seeing people live out their dreams. You always say it's never too late. I think we should have put some type of restrictions on that because some of them took it too far. And it is, and I find myself spending a lot of time with people older than me, coming to me like I'm the mother. I received a birthday card from two people. One was in her 60s, and the other was maybe 2 years younger than me, and told me they look at me like a mother. So some people may feel honored, but it just really broke my heart. And it's I don't cry easy, but it hurt. Because how did I get there at my age? I'm right now, I'm only 43. How am I like a mother to somebody almost 70 years old? I really don't even know where to begin to fix that. And I remember one of my uncles said to me, you know, you the matriarch. When he told me that, I was 30 years old. How?
And you have
How?
mama. And your mama's still walking.
My mama did. Both of my grandmothers were here at the time. I got aunts in their 80s, like, and they're very active. Very, very active. Some of them they go walking every day. I don't, as you can see. You know, but they're very active. Like, how did I become that person? You know, and I ran from it. So I can recognize it in some of them not trying to adult, because I did too. I moved away. I moved away for 10 years, so to speak, and nothing was working. I'm surrounded by a bunch of strangers and kids. I'm like, who's these people?
Okay, John.
Let me go home.
Okay, John.
Let me go home. So I had to come back home because that ain't where you're supposed to be. You know, and then we hear the thing about, you know, I'll try not to say too much. I don't want to call them names. But it's just, I was there too. So I can recognize the same way these kids can recognize it, us. And so it was, the transparency is happening. The layers are being pulled back anyway. So it's just recognize it. If you don't know what to talk to somebody, get the help. We put it on the altar, but some people altar ain't what it need to be. Let's come back into the community. Let's talk to one another. Let's open up to each other. And tell me about myself. Don't tell my sister, tell me. If you love me, you'll chastise me. So we have to be comfortable with that. It's not a judgment thing, but, you know, like I said, check yourself first. Sit around your own front door, and let's show each other. Let's let's do this together. You know, I don't feel like I'm the guru. I don't have all the answers. I'm not always quoting a scripture at somebody or throwing the Bible at them, but definitely it starts at home, literally. And that means from the inside, your vessel, then your offspring, then the neighbor, then this person, then we all. So when I tell people Project Freedom, they'll come to me, well, you know, this person got a little problem. I had one too.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. Mm-hmm. We literally put this together, Project Freedom. So we're building, we're growing, we're learning through it. You don't just go and hide and present yourself like you're the knowing of all healing. No, because we're not promised tomorrow. So let me do what I can right now. And it makes it easier for them too. And I know that's why a lot of people are, gravitate towards us, because we're transparent about it. You ain't gonna hold nothing over my head. I'm gonna tell you. You might think I told you something in private, but best believe I done told them 10 people over there too. So the moment you try to use that against me, they're gonna be like, oh, we know. We know.
We know.
Just own it. And I'm gonna keep repeating that, kind of like, just own it.
Just own it. You're gonna have to put that on the shirt for Project
Just own it. We can do that.
You're gonna have to do that, because we need to,
just own it.
Get some more funds up for the
we ain't perfect. Just own it.
Yeah, just own it.
Tell me about myself a little bit.
I love that.
But love me when you're doing it.
I love that. You went through like 3 questions right here. So I
probably did.
So, yeah, girl, this is good. Let me read. Okay. You brought about the leaders being in the community, not just in rooms at events. It's just like, okay, men and women of action, what that look like, all of that. Okay. Okay, here we go. So you made a strong point about access, especially the access that these young people are creating for themselves, and they are serious about their boundaries and not letting people into those spaces. So there are people that are expecting kids to attend programs without transportation, while adults show up for what they value.
Oh, yeah.
How does that disconnect impact the healing that is supposed to happen in the village?
Number one, I tell people all the time, these children are not driving. If you're going to put something on, talk to the people in your group. Get them there. They are not driving themselves. And some of the ones who are driving themselves probably shouldn't be driving themselves.
And you don't want to hop them in those
and we definitely don't want them in the Ubers and with other non-experienced drivers. But if we're going to make these places and spaces available to them, we also need to consider transportation. And we did something, was not last year, 2024, where Upright Transportation came in and volunteered to drive our kids just from Sheldon to Dale. That's a lot of gas on a big old bus, and he didn't care how many kids got on. We might have had 10 kids. Could get 50 on there. But that's what they're willing to do over and over again. Even getting Battery Creek to the parade. They now use the school bus. So that's the type of thing. You want them there, but you have to make sure they can get there. It's really important.
And shout out to the Dolphins. It was hot this day.
Thank y'all so much. If I never told you, I apologize, but thank you.
We love you,
Thank you. Love you, Battery Creek. Go Dolphins. But he did that for us, and that's just something that we tell people. You can't just say they don't want to come. I spoke to a young lady at over one of the gyms, Buford Rec, and she said the same thing, like, no one's showing up. I said, well, did y'all provide transportation? No.
How they gonna get here?
You can't say they're not showing up. So
they can't even get here. So.
And I spoke to the director recently at one of the ribbon cuttings, and we talked about that, and there's been time that transportation was provided, but was not communicated. So again, it's going right back to the adults. Can we communicate? Because again, how will the youth know about these things? They're not in these meetings with us. They're not the ones making the flyer or the event, but we got to keep that conversation going.
You know what popped in my head when you said that? Making them a priority.
Yeah.
You got to make the kids a priority.
Yes.
When you treat them like an afterthought and whatever events they got going on as an afterthought, how do you expect them to be excited about it? How do you expect people to know about it? Yeah. If it's treated like an afterthought, that's what the end result is going to be. It's going to be an afterthought. So all of those little things like communication and putting the word out there, they all fall through.
Go beyond the flyer. And I would say something about we might have to get them some different type of names, because we have the seniors, and I'm gonna say I'm seeing when the 70 and above, they operate a little differently.
Mm-hmm.
They still pick up the phone and call each other.
Mm-hmm.
They'll call every member in the church.
Mm-hmm.
They will call the lady from the hospital or clinic. Like, that's what they do.
Grassroots.
We make a flyer and tell a few of us, and that's it. So we need to kind of adopt that from them as well, and include some of them. Like I said, a lot of them are very active.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad habit of wanting them to just, hey, well, y'all did the work, sit back, we got this. Now I'm running around like a chick with my head cut off, trying to figure out why things ain't getting done, and they just sitting there waiting on me.
Ooh.
And I'm thinking, let her rest. They ain't ready. Rest is when you gone.
They're like, hey,
so,
I'm retired now. This is what I want to do.
And when I look back at some of the things I did accomplish with them, they went hard for us. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and get it.
Shout out to Roy Brown.
Let me go back and get it. You know, my aunt is one of them. She's really, really big in the community. Anything that's going on, she's present. She knows about it. And I told her, I said, I have a bad habit because I expect her to kind of just be there. But I didn't make it a point to pick up the phone myself to say, hey, this, that, and the other, you know. So again, back to check, everything I'm saying applies to me too. Yeah. You know, and that's what I love about our organization, because I ain't just talking at nobody. I'm talking to me too.
Yeah.
And it's a constant thing, because it's easy to fall into that. You know, when you came along, you didn't tell me. I went on a whole mental vacation. Like, I just checked out. I was like, thank you, Jesus, somebody doing something I don't have to do. But again, now it's like, oh, wait, did she need me for this? Did she need me for that? Like, when we did the production, I'm like, I didn't even think to ask her, did you need a cameraman? Did you need, you know, so, because I was just so happy to have that. And I'm thinking, yeah, just let me call my aunt again and get this person. Let me get each generation involved in what we're doing. Just make it a habit.
And it was such a good production.
It was.
The Mr. Mission, I can't wait to see what happens this year. It's
I'm excited.
Better.
I'm already calling people and talking like, look, y'all, this is a us thing. Because I think what I love, I did focus on more of letting you do what you do and just watching it bloom. Because, you know, me and you, we've been talking about it for years before we even knew. Before I knew you was a real person on Facebook, you knew I was real. We were just communicating. Was like, let's do it. And watching that unfold, it was like, this was amazing, you know. And now I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm looking around, and yeah, I'm calling out some people we know. Where's our children? I mean, I had some people coming to me for the past 6 years saying, hey, can we do a pageant? Well, where your kids at? And then you got it from 4 to 25. So even if you came to me 6 years ago when your baby was 16, your baby still qualified. They in college. They let them come home and be a part of this. Mm-hmm. And I would say, especially with Buford, what's going on with the news. Buford has been making headlines.
National.
It started with the monkey farm, you know, and they kind of never let up off of us. And then we had the unfortunate incident, and now we have the two unfortunate incidents.
Yes, because it started with the Murdoch thing.
That's 3.
The waterfront.
You know, so we have the negative things, and we have a lot of positive. But the thing is, that's not what's being shown right now. So it needs to be, and if it's gonna take us to do it.
It is.
It's gonna take us to do the real work.
It is.
The real work.
It is.
So we have a better name. But if you got those babies who went off to college, then it's not too late. Come on in. And the thing about our pageant thing, I love it because it goes on. It's year round. You have year-round activities for them, and you include the ones who are, you know, the first class. I call them first class. I don't know if you had a name for them, but that's what I like to call them.
I like that.
But, you know,
we're going to have to name each class
now.
so
it's like you had the first class. Now we're in our second class. Come back. Be a part of it. Mm-hmm. Be a part of it. Even if you don't want to join in as a contestant, you have some insight, mentor. Just, it's needed. It's needed. We have some that, you know, I was one of those kids in school. Oh, I'm gonna go to Virginia University. I didn't even know how to start. But in my mind, I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, they young.
And they just, so you see them, they're excited. They tell you what about to do with their life, and you sit there like, that is not about to happen. How can I help? But again, you have someone who did make it. Y'all gotta come back, because if they're first generation, they don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. They don't understand certain things. I know I didn't. You know, I didn't care about a GPA until somebody tried to sign me up for homecoming. I'm like, what is the new homecoming? I'm from Charlotte. We didn't care about none of that stuff. But it's just like, I didn't know. So I can understand what some of these kids are going through. Like, y'all got to come back and show them, especially if you were first generation. Like, that's just amazing, because now it's relatable. And they need to know, they need to see that somebody like me has done this, that, and the other, and they have some answers. Mm-hmm. And you can understand better because you're still closer to their age than I am. To me, they look at us and like, oh, they've been there, done that.
That's auntie. That's aunt.
Yeah, that's just it. That's just auntie. She just said it. But no, like, we need you to come back and be a part of that, because we ain't gonna be here forever.
Yes.
And the reason why we have to document things now is so somebody can pick it up and move on with it.
Right.
And we need that. So yeah, just y'all come on home and get on this list.
Sankofa. So we gonna switch gears a little bit. So we just talked about how kids need to see the adults around them united.
Yes.
And working collaboratively together. Like
Yes.
that's a given. But we also need to see, they also need to see us in something that I love the way you phrased this. You said walking in our gifts.
Yeah.
And not just talking about them.
Yeah.
So how and why is unity in this aspect amongst the elders essential for community health? And you kind of already talked about a little bit about coming back and showing them. But.
So we know the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And children, I had a friend of mine used to get on my nerve with this saying, children don't get their habits from the neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So they're watching, as we already agreed, they can see it. They know that you're not united. They know that you're broken and you're operating in that. All you're going to do is build another broken space.
Yep.
It is, and it's hard to heal. It's almost impossible to heal where you were broken. Mm-hmm. So remember that when you're pretending, I'll tell people the worst thing you can do as a parent is lie to your kid. And the worst thing a kid can do is lie to the parent. You literally are half of me. So I know, I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it. You can go behind them closed doors. Your child know that you are not okay, but you're pretending you're putting on. That's a form of rejecting them. Because now you say, I don't trust my kid with my information. I don't trust being honest with my child. But then we teach them to be honest about everything. But here you go, lying about everything. Like, I think some of us were so good at it, we really taught them how to straddle the fence. And we know that's a big no-no in our belief system. That's what you're doing. You're saying you're okay. You're saying you're not bothered. But you are not okay. And you are bothered. Your child's going to do the same thing. I don't want to talk about it. You're teaching them that. You're teaching them to keep it in. You're teaching them not to seek the right help. You're teaching them to pretend and just push it under the rug and keep on moving. And that's what some of these elders did. Like we said earlier, children are to be seen and not heard. I don't know. No. We need to hear from them. Because sometimes you forget that they can see through. And I'm going to just keep saying that. Talk it out. Work it out. Stop pretending. Talk to your sister. Don't be sitting here in the church and everybody getting along when you at home. Your baby can hear you on that phone talking about sister so-and-so. They can hear you.
It creates.
So what are you doing? So when they see that, and this is actually has happened in our organization. I've had them come to me like, Pastor so-and-so said this. When we was at the basketball court, he did this. Now, I don't look Christian to me. These are their words. These are their words. It don't look like it. You're saying this, but you're doing that. And I can feel your energy. You're not being honest. And again, if you're broken, all you're doing is creating another broken system, and it's going to trickle down, and it's just how we function. We're going to be functionally dysfunctional. It won't always be perfect, but you just be who you are. Be honest about it. Pass on, baby, I'm not well. I'm not well. I'm not okay. I guarantee that child will tell you, Mama, we're going to be all right. And they're going to sit with you in peace, because again, there's ministry in your presence. Just be. I'm going to repeat myself a lot, child. I'm telling you, this like me. It's not that hard.
The people
it's
need
really
to
simple.
hear it.
How you do one thing is how you do everything. And that's why I tell people I will repeat myself, because that's exactly what it is. You know how a comedian come in and tell you 4 different stories, but when they finish it up, they wrapped every last thing up together. That is life in itself. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So apply this to yourself. Apply this to your teaching, to when you're reaching out to someone else. Apply this to your job, your business. When people say my business and personal are separate, I take my business very personal. I take my organization very personal. This is my life.
And it was your gift. It was something that God gave you to steward. So you have to take it.
You're going to get that same thing.
Right.
I want to be the same person everywhere I am. I'm not 2 or 3-faced it. So this is
I know that's right. That's why I love you.
I only got one face. I mean, I could change the makeup, but I only got one face.
So speaking of that, that's a good segue into this next question. So you shared that personally you are in a season of growing, and that requires you now to focus on learning and leaning into patience, breaking habits, and being called higher with how you respond to those provocateurs, if you will. So, why is personal healing inseparable from leadership?
Because how you gonna lead if you not? Like, it's just what I'm like. How you gonna lead somebody you all jacked up? You know, it's important. it's imperative. You got to do the work. You got to find out what that thing is that's stopping you. Or I think I seen it last week where this minister was saying, whatever it is, you don't have what you don't respect. So when you were lacking in the area that, you know, like, God, I know I got this gift and I don't have this. He gave it to you and you was real disrespectful with it for one. So let's check yourself. And that's the simplest way I can tell you. It is important because you cannot lead if you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
And then for me, a person like me, we're always giving and giving and giving, and there's nothing, no one to refill. So all I have is God. Until you meet people like yourself, heal sis, that can pour back into you. So it's important for me to build those type of relationships, and I can only do that by continuing to grow and be in different spaces and allowing other people in as one. Because I'm also, I got this, I'll do it. I got this, I'll do it. We are multi-talented, and for some weird superhero reason, we think we can put it all on. And it's like, so I'm also in the space of learning to delegate. I'm learning.
And that,
I'm learning to get it out of my head and give it on paper and give it to the next person.
So you're not stuck on the hamster wheel.
I'm not stuck there. No, see. Let me tell you, people, and people laugh when I say it, but I'm telling you, I couldn't even be an alcoholic, right? Doing the same thing over and over again does not work for me. I couldn't even do that right, so I had to quit. So now I'm, just can't do it. I can't. I cannot wake up and see the same. I'm telling you, child. I think for me,
you gotta have the variety.
It has to change. Like the living room, move that chair. It can't stay there always.
You got some stuff around. Every 3 months, this furniture
I got to move something.
It switch around. My husband made the joke. He was like, for somebody who has never did a drug, you sure got meth head tendencies.
No, not meth.
I said meth.
Not
meth. It's like you will move everything
around.
around.
A little pill.
He was like, you come in here clean. Last week I was in here cleaning baseboards, but that's growing up country. Like you gotta get that.
Gotta get it
somehow.
Gotta get it.
So now we're gonna pivot towards your business. So we talked about the nonprofit in the village, and that was, girl, y'all in for a treat for that one. I'm glad y'all here for that. But now we're gonna talk about the theme of economic healing, collective economics, and ownership. So let's talk about Carolina Vyxen Tax Preparation, which I still gotta do my stuff on W-2.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
Hold on. We have to figure out how we're gonna file. Because I just got married and we had to figure out.
Yeah, we gotta do it right.
But how do you see economic empowerment as a form of healing for families and the broader community?
I realize our group is more, a lot of anti-violence, and poverty plays a big role in that. And most of us, we just go to work to pay a bill. That's it. You will end up in poverty, period. Like, there has to be more. You need to be motivated. You need to be inspired by your dollar. Know the power of your dollar. Have a life plan. And some people don't, because we're just used to it. I gotta, leave my mama house, give me an apartment, rent. Don't own nothing. Money you'll never get back. But I also learned when you show someone how much they put out, they tend to start paying attention a little more. They start to pay attention a little more. I've had a few, for years, since 2019, I've got into more of the financial aspect of not just doing the taxes, but telling them how they can use their taxes, how they should not use their taxes, and how they should not depend on it. Because we're going to get to a place soon where this will not exist. And I need people to understand this little extra money y'all get with these kids didn't always exist either. And we're going back to that. So if your whole life been depending on this little tax refund, I'm sorry, you have already been left behind. A lot of people is feeling that this year. And they're telling me, hey, man, you told me 3 years ago, you told me 4 years ago. Information ain't changed. When you're ready to make, I got financial advisors. We use Miss Lucille Baldwin, and we have Miss Sharon Brown, who I encourage them. I'm not a guru of all things. I'm just typing in numbers. making sure you get a nice little refund, but you need to talk to this person with your everyday finances so that you can empower yourself. You can have the things that you want, you desire. Plan your vacations. Sometimes you can plan your stability. And you can use your job to finance your dream, because a job is just a dead end thing. You're going to go to work, retire. Sorry to tell some of y'all, there's no Social Security for you. So I really don't know what some people are going to do. So you better get started now with investments, learning these things that we kind of ran from, or we thought was going to always be there, because life as we know it has completely changed. It has changed so much.
In the past year alone has been wild.
It has been wild. And I had a mentor. When my oldest was 7 years old, he asked me, and he broke it down in days. He said, in 2000, whatever the number was, days, this 7-year-old be 18. Will you be ready? And he said it like 2,000 days. That's not a lot. When in money, we know there's not a lot of money. But when you put your life
and quantify
it with that hit me hard. So I worked so hard then to figure it out. And then being stubborn, not going back to the same guy, like, okay, I did this, that was next. I didn't do that. I'm trying to figure it out on my own. But yeah, being prepared for that and teaching the children, they're going to pick up your habits. Spending every dime that you get makes no sense. There's so many platforms and things that you can use now, free services, to empower yourself, because this is some hard times. Things are going up except for your wages.
That part.
Somehow we still surviving.
That part. By the grace of God.
By the grace of God. Some people by the grace of theft, but that ain't gonna last forever. So get it together. We can't keep robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You can't.
Because now we got to find somebody else. Who gonna rob?
Right.
We gonna rob John now?
Steve
We need
John.
John. It's like, who else?
John.
Yeah.
Can't rob. You should rob Judas, because he was the one stealing. He was the one stealing.
Talk to him. Well, yeah, we don't do that, because you'll find yourself in desperate times doing things that you really shouldn't. And we got to learn to something so simple as my brother and I told everybody to pull out their phones. How many subscriptions do you have? Well, me personally, I didn't realize I was spending $280. I barely watch TV.
Yeah.
So what am I, like, what? And I'm always telling people, I watch Netflix when I'm paying for what I want to see that day, and I never pay it again until I'm ready again. But so what we did, everybody stop the subscriptions. One email, do a family account. You chip in, I chip in, and then save that. And then other money that you had, go ahead and pay that credit card off, and just different things like that. So it's simple stuff that you can do that some people just never heard. So I just try to come out there, give them the right people to listen to.
Did you memorize all the questions? Because you literally are like,
this is just my
from
life.
next point to point.
I didn't. This is just my life.
So you connect your work to that Kwanzaa principle of collective economics. So that collaboration among businesses, how does that help economic fragmentation in our village? Because now you talked about how there are certain things we can do, like on a family level with the Netflix, but collaboration among businesses, explain how that helps, keep that economic fragmentation in our village, because we've seen it before in our past and our history as people when it comes to like the different Black Wall Streets across America. But now we're the generation that has the education, that has the freedom, that has things that we're fighting for, and it's like it was almost like a trade-off. Yeah, and we need to. I will give an example. 2019, I went to Charlotte to an event. Nice vendor set up. One young lady, she had these feminine products. Nice display. And this is the moment I'm trying to learn how to do Juneteenth. Like, how can I put this together? And we ordered some things for her. She showed us what she has, got on her email list, followed her on Instagram, put us in the raffle. And then I said, okay, well, I want to get these. She said, oh, this is just a display. What? She said, no, you don't want to carry this with you all the time. Order it. So right in the day, I realized what the real trick was. She didn't have a lot of money. So this, I can't sell these things. I need to keep using this as my display. And now I'm getting an email list. Now I'm getting you to follow me on social media, and I'm getting your order delivered to you at home, so you don't have to walk around here with all these bags. That's also encouraging me to go visit other people. So I don't just have to buy from her. Because, once you done got all these bags, you walking around this conference, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to go to the car and come back. Right. So it was just something. Rush is done. It was just something so simple in that moment that a light went off for me. And I'm like, oh.
So when I got back home, I'm telling these different people I knew were vendors, like, hey, let's do the Juneteenth, let's do this. And they would always say, I don't have enough supplies. Yes, you do. I went to one young lady house. She makes she can take a regular TV tray, make it look marble. You would think it's something you ordered out of a magazine. She's amazing with it. So I just started finding different things in her house. I said, this is your display. So I was able to take what I learned there to show her how to collaborate with somebody else. So she said, well, I also realized she's a horrible designer. She can create, and she know I'm talking about it too. So but I can. So that in that same sense, it was when you get people to ask you to do something, let me design it. I give it to you, you produce it. Because I do not have the patience and the skills. Y'all crafty people. I appreciate it, love y'all, but I ain't got the time. It sound good. I'm going to save the video, but I'm never going to go back to it. So, but I can design it is nothing to me. So right then and there, that's what she and I started doing. So
and that's that collaboration.
It's a collaboration. Piece. So it's like I told her, you don't need to tell the person that I designed it. I don't need to tell them that you printed it. Number one, we need to start take our names off of some of this stuff and just do it.
And that takes such a weight off too, because people don't realize how mentally and emotionally and physically taxing it is.
Yeah.
When you have to design the concept, create the concept, produce it, and sell it. Like those are 4 different instances of the process.
Yeah.
And when you can delegate those things and collaborate with those things, it frees you up to be a master at the craft that you are the master of.
Yeah. And we do it all the time, man. Like I have an amazing team now, and I am building. I hadn't called you yet, but I'm gonna call you later. Because the work is coming in. Like there's things that I have been preparing for or dreamt about for years, and it is happening whether I like it or not. I'm getting a client before I can even produce the advertisement and say this is what I do.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, how did you know I could do that?
Because your reputation precedes you, queen.
Yeah, and it's rolling in. So I'm gonna need you, school teacher.
You know I got you.
It is one of those things.
I'm already making my curriculums now. Absolutely,
and that's why I love you.
I'm done.
And AI helps.
I only have one more subject to do for 6th through 8th grade. And
I love that. I love it. So yeah, it's just showing them how you do this, I do that. Let's put this together with my business. I see it all the time, and sometimes it's working out. I've got a lot of them to work together who they thought would never work together, and I'm like, you don't owe me nothing. It's just you don't have much. Don't sit on that dream. Don't like I said, we talk about going to the job. That job is not going to allow you to pay your car note, your insurance, your rent, and all of that, feed the kids, and buy all the supplies you need. So what part can you get from someone else, and what can you give them? Just remember to reciprocate. You can't always be taking in and not giving back. And I think that's where we fall short sometimes. We get a little happy and excited and forget where we came from. Let's not do that. Let's always remember to go back and get it. Reciprocate that.
In the words of Lauren Hill,
reciprocity. And learn to use each other's children.
Yeah.
I be going to these different places, seeing the kids work over here, and then I'm on the phone with this caterer who's struggling. Well, why your baby working at McDonald's? Shouldn't they be working with you?
Right.
Your friend got a restaurant. Why they not at your friend restaurant? Like, let's get back to that. You know, I grew up with it, not realizing it. I remember riding around my granddaddy 4-wheeler, and we went over here and got our cabbage. We went over here. We had all the turkeys and the chickens, so he's taking them the meat, and then they were giving him, you know, it just, let's get back to that. And we still have black farmers, people believe it or not, they're still here, and they're, got to patronize them.
Yes.
Let's
Again, flowing through the cue cards here.
Let's get at them people grocery stuff.
Out the stuff.
And get in the fields.
Because they pumping it with everything anyway. They ain't fight. Our folks ain't fight for the land for us to just give it back to the corporations, and they pump whatever they want in our food.
We got to.
So that brings me back to Mitchellville and the history of Beaufort County, because that was how they operated.
Yes.
That's very much how Mitchellville, and if y'all don't know what Mitchellville is, Mitchellville was the first freedmen's town in America before the war was over, when the Battle of Port Royal was won by the Union forces. So the African American population here now have a town that not only bartered and traded amongst themselves, like you said, cabbage from Miss Ann and green beans from Mr. Earl, but they also provide commerce and goods to the Union Army that was here. So they function a lot like a military town around a influential military base. So what parts of Beaufort County's Black history outside of that, do you think we need to reclaim in order to heal? Because you are a true Buford baby. Like you generations. Like your family is Sheldon.
I was born right there in Buford Memorial at the hands of the late great Dr. Elijah Washington. Yes. Yeah, Buford is rich in history. That I also believe if we, and I'm not a historian, y'all, at all. Just certain things that happen. No, that's where you come in at. Don't ask about the year, the time, and I couldn't do all of that. But I do know that growing up, my dad was in the Air Force, so we lived in Sumter, not too far from here. But my favorite subject was South Carolina history. It's a beautiful black and white book. And every time I open it, I'm like, oh, that's by my grandma's house. Oh, that's over by my uncle's house. So I'm known as a little girl who tells all these little tales. So it really wasn't.
Everybody.
They didn't believe nothing I had to say. But it was funny because when Facebook came out, some of my friends from, I haven't seen the 93. The first time I got on Facebook, they found me. And as they see some of our pictures on Facebook, they're like, girl, you wasn't lying. All of that is in Buford. Like, yes. Like, but the thing when I got to Buford, it's not taught here.
It's the
blew my mind.
craziest thing.
I came in the end of 6th grade, and not one time did I learn any of those things actually from being here. I learned it from a book from a place 2 hours away from here.
And it's so foundational to our history, not only as a people, but our country. Because before the Civil War, the American Revolution War was fought and won here. Yeah. And people don't know.
They don't know. Like, we live in Sheldon. You think Sheldon burnt church, and to us, it's just names. Mm-hmm. They don't realize. Like, no, this is that movie you was watching? That was right here. Mm-hmm. I live here. Like, literally, we live in Sheldon. You know, I was watching an old slave movie, and they were talking about the Robinsons and the Albergattis and how they went across the creek, and I'm like, the Albergattis still live over there. We the Robinsons, they talk about us.
They talk about real
That's
family.
You know, and I'm like, and I'm sitting with my cousin who last name is Smalls. You know what I'm saying? Robert Smalls. I went to Robert Smalls, and it was one of our co-founders, Tiana Parker. She's the one that told me, and this was in 2020. She said, girl, you only know about Robert Smalls because you went to the school. I said, so Robert Smalls not being taught at all of the schools around Buford? No.
Only in that Battery
Like,
Creek
what do
cluster.
you mean?
Only in our cluster.
And that's because, that's walking distance, those two schools. And I'm like, how is that possible? It kind of broke my heart. So we're seeing more and more people talk about them now. But I also realized with when I watched a little 20-minute movie on the Port Royal experiment, how they kind of okey-doked us. And the unfortunate part is those things are still in place today. How they steal our land from us. Those tax laws exist to this day. Anyway, we ain't gonna get too deep. But I learned with these children who don't really realize the richness of the grounds that we're walking on. If they actually knew and understood it, that would actually empower them. Because now they realize that this is my family. So we also got to stop lying about who kin to who. Let's talk about it. This was nothing but a bunch of plantations. So the chances of us not being related is slim enough. You know, but taking a sense of pride, you know, I think right now my kids, even though we are the Robert Smalls Movement of Action, they hear the name. We tell the story, real little skit. But as they're getting older, just recently, my youngest is like, yo, that's powerful. He was here. Harry Tubman was here. Like, they did that here. Yes.
I didn't know until I got here that Harriet Tubman rescued 700 people in one night. And brought them here.
Right here.
Here. And girl, when I tell you, I bawled and cried at the end of the Buford Christmas Parade. Because, you know, this year they've been doing some reconstruction downtown. Yeah. And so we had turned on Craven Street instead of that whole loop past UCB. So when we were on Craven Street, and I realized we were on this street, and we got all these kings and queens, Mr. and Miss Hilton-Head, Miss Buford, Mr. It was overwhelming. Yeah. It was like 100 years ago. They were on this very street. Free people. Free people in front of this exact same church.
Same spot. Same church.
Robert Smalls is buried right here.
Right here.
And as I could literally just hear the ancestors in heaven just like rejoicing that in the rain held off. Your daddy
Oh,
told
always.
Your daddy told me,
always.
he said, me and Guy had to talk about it. It's going to hold off. And he said that to him when we went to go pick up
Yes.
the trailer. And it did, because I didn't understand how monumental and how necessary it was for that to happen.
It was necessary.
For that to happen. And it was almost like a reset
Yeah.
and a shift
Yeah.
in the atmosphere. So you brought up economic development.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two words, because you were talking about the law and the tax codes.
Yeah.
Still, that we ain't gonna get all into the history of that, y'all. That's what Google for.
Yeah.
And Wikipedia is not a source. Stop using it.
Don't go to Wikipedia. I'm one of them people. I'm going to tell you this real quick. I am one of the people that will go into Wikipedia and I will put a line in there
Just to throw people off.
just to throw you off. Even in the argument, I think that was one of my pettiest moments. I was arguing with somebody, so I said, go look at Wikipedia. But I had put in there her name. It was like, hey, Susan, leave me alone. Just so she can see how easy it is. Like, don't do that. So yeah, y'all stay off Wikipedia.
Stay off.
I'm a troll. I definitely go in there and make
Stay
stuff.
off.
So,
But people hear the words economic development and they automatically think gentrification.
Yeah.
And I really want you to break down, because historically, and it's not that it's coming from an irrational place. So we don't want to say it's not that, because a lot of that in the past was associated with either displacement or disenfranchisement. So how does healing the narrative change how we engage with development? So
for now where we are, when they hear development, they definitely think, I gotta go. They don't see themselves as developers. They don't understand what that is. And even for me, I had to study more deep when I started working with the Gullah Geechee Chamber of Commerce. And I had a conversation with Gwen Chambers of Blackwoody. I said, we need to find another word. Because that's what we got to do. We got to break it down, something that they understand. Because when you have these conversations, they'll just say, yeah, follow along. But the truth is, they have no idea what you're talking about because how you started. So you have to break it down in the simplest forms. And we always still working on a word for it. But just knowing that when I say someone, okay, so you had 10 acres, you can lease out one. It's like they think that they have to be the one to build that house. I have to build that hotel. I have to work in the whole mindset. They don't understand how it works. Yeah. Development doesn't mean you get pushed away. Development in your landowner, that's leverage for you. Mm-hmm. We don't teach selling anything, but you can lease for another 100 years. You won't even be here. Like they can never own that land. They can build whatever they want on it, but they're going to forever have to be paying you. That's powerful.
They're doing that.
And it's happening. And we hear that a lot. Oh, we don't want another Hilton Head. They lost all their land. No, they all did not. Stop it. And it wasn't development. Those who lost the opportunity were not given a chance. And I know you met you and Faquita. I'm calling your name, Miss Faquita. Thank you. We spoke on the phone a lot, and she shared her story with me, and we just never got together. So maybe you can make it happen. But she has a story to tell. She's one of those families who will tell you it wasn't the developers who took from us and pushed us out. It was your own people. It happens. And there's times even that I'm learning now. I'm like, okay, let's go find out how much of this land is yours. Go to the county office and show them what development can look like for you. If you and your family got 10 acres, y'all can have your own little subdivision. You don't have to put it other people in it. Y'all can have it for yourselves. Mm-hmm. You know, learn to put everything in a trust. Stop just keeping things in heirs property. And a lot of us, we grew up thinking heirs, when we hear it, we sound like we Prince Charles and the rest of them. That ain't, the heirs for them and heirs for us mean two different things. Mm-hmm. Heirs property here means wrongfully deeded. It means everybody in your bloodline got access to that land. A cousin who ain't never lived here can come down here, go down there and sell their shares, and y'all done lost this land. Or survey it and put it in their name. And I'm not going to say the rule to that, but it's really that simple. Go down there and get it surveyed. It's yours now. And you have people like that. They have no attachment to you. They don't know you. They just know that my cousins got all these trailers on this land, or the land's just sitting here and nothing's being done. So I'm going to come and I'm going to get it and I'm going to build what I want. Now they have become developers. Mm. Even all you know is somebody lives there with a house. That's still part of development. So it depends on what you want to do. But we do have to teach it, and we're trying our best to reach different people. You got to go to them and talk about it. And again, don't feel embarrassed because you don't understand something or you don't know those terminologies. I sit in meetings all the time with developers, and I'm sitting there laughing like, Google. And I have those shame and say, yo, what does that mean? Like, give me another way. Questions. Because I'm community engagement. Because they also understanding that. And one of the developers, he said to me, we were talking, he's just talking and giving me all this paperwork. I'm like, let me put that in my drawer. So when he noticed it, he's like, remember that paper I gave you? What, is it in the bottom drawer over there? Yeah. make it visual so I can break it down and show it to them. So that's where I come in at. So even with that, I'm still learning. Back to again, I'm learning as I'm going. So I'm not no, developer myself that I know all these things, but I'm learning with them so we can understand how to better save our land, not lose it anymore, or just let it sit there. Because now we're just going to work places just to pay taxes and the land is just sitting there. We are land rich but cash poor people. And that is something I learned while I was studying economics when I moved to Florida. Like I said, I was running and I'm doing economics, got my little tutor. I'm like, I want to understand this stuff. And what I got from it was poor people do not own land. So how is it we the poorest ones around? That doesn't make any sense. So as I learned more, I got to come home and I got to secure what we have, put it in the trust. So we know these people are coming in. You don't have to sell. We get the letters and the text messages all the time. Do not sell it. But you definitely want to make use of it for yourself. So holding on to it just to pay taxes makes no sense at all because that's your wealth right there. We spend enough time going and clocking on somebody's clock. And the whole time, a few of your acres could be making that money for you. When we were getting all these new cell phone companies, that was a prime time. And some of y'all family members did it and just didn't tell y'all. They getting a nice little check for them cell towers and not sharing. So we have to remember to share the wealth. But if it was in a trust, that family member wouldn't be able to do that. You would have known everything. So we want to definitely start there. And we do have a workshop coming up. I'll give you that information on will and trust and why it's important and why it's crucial now more than ever, especially right now where we are in Beaufort. Because this land, the prices are being really, really low in certain areas and really high in other areas. And it's so easy, like I said, it's so easy to go in there and just steal this land from us. So just paying the taxes is not enough. We need to be making money from it.
Especially with that price of living going up.
It's going, everything going up, but our wages.
So, Reconstruction, there would be no Reconstruction without Beaufort County. At all. Because of the Port Royal experiment that you mentioned. Which, if you did not know, the Port Royal experiment started around 1862 here. So that is 3 years before the end of the Civil War. And that is when the federal government came down with the Union Army to establish educational systems, land development, education, just everything to make sure that the formerly enslaved were properly educated on the benefits and rights that they had now as American citizens. So it's, however, because of, history, we talk about Reconstruction from a place of loss now, because a lot was lost. Especially after the assassination and then the storm that came and washed everything away, and the Hayes Taft Compromise that said, like, we pulling out all the Union troops. So it left Black people, unprotected. But how does remembering Black self-governance and economic strength help heal our collective identity? You said something about your son saying, like, that happened here.
They don't see it. Like I said, they can't duplicate what they haven't seen. And I spoke to a few of the elders, like my father, some of my aunts, and different people I'm meeting when I was working on St. Helena. Bay Street was all Black at one point.
I did not know that.
Most people don't know that. You wouldn't know going down there. It. And I'm working on something for them to tell these stories. I'm like, y'all, you have to tell the stories because it's not being written in our books. We already established it wasn't being taught either. So my parents, they just used to what it used to be, and they don't speak on what. I think Aunt Pearlie Sue does a good job at speaking on some of it, but just for this area in particular, the conversation had to be had. The children need to see it. So how do we get it to them? What we gonna do? Stage play? What we gonna do? Put it in a little book? We doing all of that because I need them to get this information out. Because if those children, our youth, can see that it once existed, now it's become relatable, and I can get that. I can get it back. Because I gotta go back and get it. And if we're not going back and getting and talking about it and showing it to them, how are they going to know? So they don't know that it was you. I have a young man that I kind of adopted, little white boy. Shout out to Jacob. He came here to Beaufort. So we're Jacksonville or Florida, a little melting pot, but mostly Caucasian. He came here and he says, Mom, I'm the only white person in Walmart. I've never in my life been arrested. It's just something he noticed immediately. He'd never seen that many Black people. And then we took him to Sheldon. So it got even, he's like.
He got blacker as he went down the street.
And he's like, he's cool, but he's like, he never realized it. So when people aren't used to that. We're used because we grew up with it. So it's common. It's common to walk into the store and your mama own the store and your daddy own the gas station and your sister's a doctor over here. That's normal here. That is not normal outside of the corridor. It's just not. And we got some families and cousins of Savannah and Charles who kind of lost that. And so it's like we're watching what happened. And I did tell people when I came back in 2017 to start visiting more, we're the last few that still own a lot. But again, we're still cash poor. We have to be able to go back, learn what it was, get back what was owed to us. Like I said, the heirs property thing is actually saving grace, but in some situations when you realize you had ties to it and something was exchanged without your knowledge, you get to challenge that in court. So let's find out. My sister sold that store over there improperly. I get to go to the court, and whoever's in it now, you got to go or give me my shares, or you got to buy me out. We've seen that happen with Bruce Beach. I think it was in California where this family, it was taken from them. The city had to give it, the state had to give it back to them. Now, can you maintain a whole beach with your small group of family and no money? No. So they had to give it back to them on paper, and then they got to purchase it from them. So that's the things that we can do here. It's just it's not talked about. And I think the other thing, but I know the other thing that happened in Beaufort, when you used to go to the county records, you knew everybody in there. We were in there. And I remember when they put a freeze on hiring and fired almost everybody. Oh, I remember. And some of y'all remember. So they removed us.
So the same thing that they did in education a few years ago.
Exactly.
Why
they
we sitting
removed
here
us.
having this conversation right now?
My English teacher was my aunt's English teacher. Her brother was my technology teacher. I don't see that anymore in the school. So no matter where you went and what you did, when I graduated and started working for Beaufort County, my geography teacher from 7th grade was my supervisor. So we kept these things going, you know, whether it was in the churches, but we were heavily involved in all county dealings, and they took that away. So now you have a bunch of strangers who don't know each other, could care less about the family, the heirs, but they don't care about that. They don't care at all. So there's a big disconnection, and they just removed us from what we had. Community. They removed us from the community, and I don't think it was really, people paid too much attention to it. And I'm not saying it was all perfect, because we didn't doing things probably had no business, but we were removed so heavily to where everything just went. Now we're being overtaxed, and the lawsuit, some things that were not going on when we were in control. And that's something that I paid very close attention to over time, even with Parks and Leisure, Beaufort Rec. It was all us. My mother worked at the center, and my aunt worked at that one, and my cousin worked. Even I used to work there. The people who lived in the community worked in the centers. Half our centers ain't even open. You got all these people that don't know. They're not of the community, so you're not going to serve a community that you're not from in the same capacity.
Right.
That's just a fact,
right.
And we see that over and over again, and that's happening all over Beaufort County. Right. So we definitely want to train the workforce, train up our children to know these are good jobs. They're good paying jobs. If you want one. You know, become a supervisor, something, but that's where we belong. We belong in county records, so we don't get people in tampering with stuff. We belong in the zoning office. Right. Why? So we don't have to have these conversations where we're being told one thing over here and something else over here. We need to be more involved in county meetings where we can hear what they're voting on. Yes, it can be boring, but this is your livelihood. This is your life. This is your heritage. This is your inheritance.
Ooh, your inheritance.
This is your inheritance. Like land, everything about this world, every war has been about land. Power. We're watching it every day and don't realize it, but we have so much ownership and just don't know. We got to do more. We got to do more. We got to talk about it more, be more present, and be in the rooms that we didn't think we qualified to be in. Right. But after this administration, for the second time, you qualified to be anywhere.
Hey, talk about it.
I might start doing surgery at this point. Like, hey, maybe I can do that too. About it. You know, but yeah, let's just.
My husband was mentioned because he went to school here in the 90s. And he was a Battery Creek boy. Okay. He was a Dolphin. And he was saying how Burton Wells used to be popping. Yeah. Like that community center. Like now you go over there, at most you see probably about 3-4 cars over there. And it's a beautiful complex. Yeah. And the park is beautiful. You don't even see the kids. Like they have a whole ninja course over there. They have, but like you said, that goes back to also transportation. And then not only that, but kids feeling safe to go out in the community as well, because it's just not something that's being pushed.
Presence. We did a Stop the Violence rally. I think it was 2023. We did downtown Beaufort, Washington. If you ever did history on that, Washington Park.
No, but you told me about
Okay.
it when we went.
So we were
last year
there,
for
and
Juneteenth.
at the time, the former chief and I were talking. He just said, "I'm so happy to see these kids just having a good time." I mean, it was so many young adults, teens. They're all just having a good time. And I said, "I'm not going to do another one like this. We at the stage. We got speakers speaking. Them kids don't care about that."
They don't.
I said, "Look around. Those kids are over there having a good time. Those ones over here having a good time. These ones just hanging out. You know why? Because we're here." Something simple as y'all pick a day when y'all can go sit at that park with the kids so they'll feel comfortable. They see you sitting, they gonna come out there.
Mm-hmm.
Not the old drunk on the corner. You run him on about his business. You know, give him some water, send him home.
And
but just being present, your presence alone makes them feel more safe. Even with Project Freedom, we have King's Day that we kind of put on hold right now during this administration because of the conflict of names. We're still kings and queens. We're not going to throw that away. But even then, I had some of the fathers ask me, "What you want me to do?" Just show up. Just being there alone, your presence alone makes a difference. I've seen them do it in some schools in Chicago and in DMV where the fathers, they're just there.
Mm.
That's it. And they said the children's grades have gone up. Fighting has gone down. Are they having conversations? No, just greeting them and their presence alone makes a difference. So the same thing for us here. They don't feel comfortable because there's no adults out there.
Mm.
There's no adults. They need to see that somebody cares, and we can't pretend that we don't have an issue right now with the violence and everything else.
We don't. Like, you know, I'm so glad that the Lord brought me out of teaching because I was upset about it at first.
Yeah.
But last night, I got a lot of healing from my community, especially from my dolphin community that I just admire. But we have lost so many babies.
Yeah.
And that last one at Willie's was just devastating. And
so much was lost.
It was so much.
So much was lost.
And you know, we were planning a few weeks later having a sweet potato pie baking contest for the community at Willie's. So it was just like, it was almost like the air was sucked out the room again. Especially after us climbing that hill for those years with me and you, trying to climb and build and get the community. And it's like, we got the community with the Juneteenth organization, but now we don't have anywhere to house them because that happened there. It made national headlines. And so, back on that history trip, you were talking about being at Fort Fremont on St. Helena Island. And I don't know much about Fort Fremont because I didn't even know about it until you told me about it. Because, you know, I'm over here on the Burden Shell, that area. So I don't go out there much. But what did standing in that space awaken in you about protection, resilience, and responsibility?
So I'm still actually processing that. That was a spiritual experience that I've never experienced before. And that's why I told you when me and you talk, I don't even really know how to articulate to the masses. I just say, if you spiritual, take it with you when you go. The whole armor. I felt a lot, and I thought it was just me. Honestly, I thought I was just dehydrated and was just having a bad day. But it got really, really heavy, and it wasn't just me. You know, it was 5 of us at the time, and found out we all felt the same thing.
What was Fort Fremont?
So it was one of the barriers to prevent the enemy to get to Paris Island. So you had to pass there. You know, it's cute, you know, hidden, small. Infirmaries there. It was a hospital. That's where they had the cannons where they were shooting out. So that's, you know, they protected the barrier islands over there. And I'm not sure what it is, Chris. I'm telling you, like, that place was heavy. So they do have some things y'all can read up when you go there. Read everything to tell you where everything was. And I just don't know. I really don't know what it was. And I know St. Helena is rich in our culture too. But just knowing that was one of the battlegrounds to protect us from being overtaken. So
it's forever.
It's, And the other thing that was happening there is there's this gate up where you kind of can't access the beach. But right here, my view is someone's home where you can come out their backyard and go straight to the beach while the regular public is blocked off from it. You gotta go through the trees and find your way to get to the other side of it. So we don't really have that much access to it, accessible access to it. So that kind of bothered me to see that there's people, wealthy people living in the national park. I just never seen nothing like that in my life.
Yeah.
Like that's like me putting the house next to Sheldonburg Church. Like why are you living there? So that was bothering me from the beginning when I got there. I just didn't like it, seeing all these boats and people just living luxury life and right in this park.
When this is where people defended freedom here.
Yeah, and then we're gated in to prevent us from seeing one of the most beautiful things, which is the beach.
Which
standing
is
there
the beach
through a
they
gate.
protected.
Yeah, I'm at the gate looking at a beach. Like it just did something to me. I'm like, this sitting on the dock, sipping her little margarita, and y'all got the general public, which is us, blocked off. I didn't know people could live in it. They just jogging and just it was something, but it did. I went. I did not go inside some of the spaces. It just was too heavy. I stood on the sidewalk like, yeah, I'm gonna just take a picture from here. I didn't go in there, but I did go on the top of I think it was the hospital, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me. But I went on top with one of our contestants.
Queens.
Yeah. Well, not queens. We went up there and we kind of looked around, and I just started feeling nauseated. Because it was a beautiful view, but it was just something about it, and just kind of find out she felt the same. Like I felt like I had cinder blocks on my feet.
And this
walking back to the car.
And this is the first time that you told me that people were living there.
Yeah.
And it's something about spaces that are meant to be preserved and revered. When I went to Peace Prayer Park in Japan when I was living there, that's where they in Okinawa, where the people were jumping off when the Americans came. But now it's a beautiful park and area where you can learn about the history, and it's called Peace Prayer Park. You would never think of anybody living there because it's supposed to create that reverence.
It's a sacred space.
It's a sacred space. And sometimes if you notice, when sacred spaces are defiled in a way, especially for personal gain, it kind of creates this imbalance in the spiritual.
Yeah, and I look at it as historically, if this is what you're saying it is, what else is underneath these homes? What else was over there? Because I didn't see any graveyards, and I could imagine. I'm pretty sure there were some. Everybody didn't get shipped home. But it just it was one of those things where it just
didn't say it right.
Not at all. It actually looks like a prison yard a little bit to me. Is what it reminded me.
What?
Because
I gotta go out
because the freedom is there. Like when you see the ocean, the water, that's the sense of you go
freedom.
to the beach and just freedom, and
then you see you can't.
There's a gate up, and I gotta hold onto the gate to look at the water, and I'm just sitting there watching these other folks got access to it from their backyard.
That's very symbolic. Even of the American dream when it comes to Black liberation and freedom. And like that being us being on the East Coast and that being a way to through the transatlantic, it almost is like the port of no return, and then the port of no return.
and I will tell you, and one thing that may have bothered me about that too, and you got to bring up Pine Island. So I've been there. We hear about preserve. It's historical. It's landmarks. Don't do this. Don't do that. So I've been on Pine Island where St. Helena-ville used to be an all-white resort for recreation and some other things. I got to go to the space of the last piece of history that's left there. It's a rock.
It's a rock?
It's a rock. So to sit in meetings for 3 years listening to people tell other people what's there, it's a rock. That's it. That is the last remnant of St. Helena-ville that they want to protect. But this park over here, you got beach houses right in it, and we're not going to preserve that. We're going to allow that to happen, but then we're going to make a big fuss about.
And what was St. Helena-ville? Because I've never heard of St.
St. Helena-ville was a recreational park, all white recreational park, vacation spot. Yes, sports, golf, pickleball, whatever you want to call it, cornhole, all white. That's what it used to be.
Well, on that note, I'm going to let y'all do what y'all want to do with that. So we're wrapping up now, but if healing the village starts with one shift from elders and leaders, what would you sum it up to be?
Ooh, say it again.
If healing the village starts with one shift from elders and leaders, what would you say that should be?
Truth.
Truth.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
And if young people are watching Heal Sis TV, what do you want them to know about their power, their place, and their role in this healing process?
I do the work from the inside out. I don't want to quote somebody because I don't want to quote the man. I think it's part of his book. Let's not be ashamed of where we came from and the things in our experiences. Let's share them. Everybody got a chapter in their book that you don't want somebody to read.
Yeah.
We don't want to read out loud. But the truth of the matter is it happened, and I think what I've seen is me knowing, I was a life coach for a little bit and I had to stop. I realized people needed therapy, not coaching. Which is too much for me. Just knowing that I may know more about your mom than you do. That didn't sit well with me. And this is an ongoing thing. People come to me, strangers not, and I can have a conversation. You know that. I don't care if I met you yesterday. I can tell you the deepest, darkest things that I've been through, and I do not care. But I do that because I see other people hurt so much and try to hide those things or masquerading. And like I tell people, I can do the glam, and you know me. I'll be silly in 5 minutes and do not care. And walk into that same stuff. I will change my wig 3 times a day. You know,
I done seen that. That's a fact.
I don't care. I don't do this for anybody, but it's one of those things that we have to be able to be truthful about who we are, where we came from, and share those experiences with our children. No, we wasn't always in the church. Some of them literally were born in the church, but your whole life wasn't always what you think you're presenting as perfection. Let them know that you can relate. You know, and I've been there, like I mentioned. I gave my children a life of unwed life, and I didn't know. That's not what I knew. And I actually was a little ashamed of it at first because I thought everybody in my family, they're all married. My mom is 6 of them, daughters. All of them have husbands. My grandparents always been married. Then I had to learn I wasn't the only one, but you made me go through this alone. No one came and sat with me and said, hey, don't be ashamed. I too may have been born out of wedlock, or I too had let's talk about it. Let these children, these young people know that we've been there, we've done that. We are not perfect. We never were perfect, and we ain't never gonna be perfect. But we're perfect enough for Him. So
imperfect people.
Let's be imperfect together.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let them know who you really are. Let's stop presenting. I think that's a better way to wrap that up.
Yes, presenting and performing.
Because we can't do that.
We can't.
Pull it off.
Girl, this was good. I need to
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you too. I love you. And it's crazy because we met through the internet. It's always been this genuineness. So I just thank you so much for being here and reminding us that healing the village isn't symbolic. It's visible. It requires accountability and requires us to live out loud.
Yes.
So to all our viewers in our Heal Sis tribe, thank you for supporting this platform. And remember, that healing is not an option. It is required. So get to work, sis. All right. Until next time, we will see y'all. Love y'all. Smooches.
Feel His love like the sun in the skies. He'll just rise and let your heart blow. Let Him place joy where the pain used to show. He'll sustain, let your spirit be free. It's your time now, just believe and you'll see. Trials may come, but